Alright, I'm going to talk about what inspired me to pursue medicine. Um, there's obviously a lot of factors that, you know, that play a big role in, me pursuing medicine and how I got interested in it. And many of those things were because of family members, friends, and, personal experiences and stories and movies that I watch. Um, but I think that one of the big difference and big reasons why it was because personal experiences that I had. Um, I'm going to talk about the oldest um, personal experience that I had that I could remember that I first started, and the most recent, right? I think 5 months ago, right? I think that's when the recent one, right? And then I'm gonna talk about my thoughts on it and one of the other reasons. Um, so as long as I can remember, um, I think it all started in the second grade, right? I went through a K through 12, Kelly at Kelly Elementary here in Compton, and it was an event that was going on at my school, right? It was during recess, and it was Halloween. Um, and I remember running with my friend, Joshua, his name was, and we were playing. I don't know what we were doing. We were just running around, and we were running side to side, right? And out of nowhere, he collapsed. He fell to the ground, and he was moving, shaking, right? He was looking at me with his eyes. He got like he was scared, right? And I mean, there was nothing I could do, really. And and how he reacted reminded me of a movie I watched the day before it happened. It was the movie about the exorcism, and it was basically about this girl that got possessed by a demon, right? And I compared the girl and my friend to you know alike, right? And I believe at the time he was possessed by a demon because how he was reacting on the floor and stuff. And while I was watching the movie, I seen the pastors and the fathers, um, putting their hands over the girl's head, praying for them and putting holy water over them, right? You know, and that's what I did at the time. I got to the ground, I got on my knees, and I started praying for my friend to leave, for the demon to leave, and yeah, I put my hand over his head, right? And um, and one of the teachers saw this, right? And he came over and he took my friend away. Um, and then a week later, I found out that he had an asthma attack. Right. My teacher told me that it was caused by the heat, right, by the sun, because during that day it was hot, right, and I guess my friend was wearing a mask, and that would make him breathe heavily and harder to breathe. Um, but that's all he told me was it was because of a heat and stroke, and that what caused it, right? And then I told him more questions, right? I wanted to know more. I wanted to know more about it, and he told me it was due to lungs, right? How tight it was, right? And diseases and stuff, and um, he got to the point where um, how delicate and things could go wrong out of nowhere because we were running around and out of nowhere he just collapsed, right? And my teacher told me that um, this could happen out of nowhere, and no one knows what to expect. So expect the unexpected, right? Um, so he started mentioning about the brain now, right? He mentioned one of the things that I found crazy was that if you move something about the brain to the right 1 centimeter away, it will completely mess you up, right? And that's what got me, right? How can at least 1 centimeter away things can really mess you up, right? And um, I wanted to know more about that, and that's where I learned the basic knowledge about it, memory loss, balance, thinking skills, and just parts of the brain where all those skills and performance and exercises that comes into play, right? And um, that's the first experience that comes to mind when I think about the first when I first was interested in pursuing medicine. And one of the other reasons, um, the recent experiences that I had was about a friend, right? He's more like a close friend to me, right? Um, he's my neighbor. He's my you know he's right my neighbor. We basically grew up with each other. I know him since I was probably 3. And my family, they know their family. His family knows mine, and we grew up very close, right? I would go to his house, play some games, soccer, right? And take up hose, play with his chickens, right? Because he had a small farm, right? Um, we would plant fruit, plant trees, all these stuff in his backyard, and then we would do the same thing in my backyard, right? But you know, at, around 5 months ago, he mentioned that his mom got into a car accident, and he told me how she was beginning to lose her memory and developing Alzheimer's, and at this time now, you know, um, I know about Alzheimer's, and I know the effects that could cause it, and what could that person could be deal with it, but I don't know what could they be going, right? Because I cannot imagine my mom could be going like something like that, and and you know around those months, 3 months later, I didn't see his mom outside the porch when I got out after school, right? Because every time I get home after school, I would open the gate, and to go in, and I would see his mom at the porch, right? Either just sitting there, scrolling on her phone, or just drinking something, eating something, right? Um, and while I see her, she will wave at me. I'll wave her, I'll wave back, and it would say, "How are you? I'm good. How about you?" Right? Um, and one day, I got home and I saw her. Right? She saw me. You know, I thought I was expecting to wave back, right? But she didn't wave back, and I was the one who waved back for the first time, and you know, and I didn't get back a wave back, um, and and that was just that was scary, right? Because I remembered how my friend told me that her mom had Alzheimer's right now, yeah, and Now every time when I go to his house, um, I would have to introduce myself. Whenever I go and see her, right, I would be like, hi, this is Juan, right, and you remember me, right? Um, I'm your neighbor, I'm your friend, and and then she will remember, right? Um, and that's one of the reasons why it's hard, you know, and why I want to pursue something like this and help people like my friend's mom, who has Alzheimer's, and I know that there's different kinds of memory loss, like practice, like uh, diseases and stuff, and I may and I want to be one of those doctors that could make some type of treatment, possibly cure the whole thing instead of taking medication and slowing the process down, right? And I think that that's one of the most recent experiences that I have right now, and there's obviously more about my own family members who have associated with neurological diseases and stuff, but I just want to keep it simple and just talk about my oldest and experiences that I have and my most recent things that I have encountered. And you know, and lastly, I want to talk about my community, right? Because that's my community is what inspires me to also pursue medicine. Um, you know, I do not remember the last time I went to the clinic to do a physical check. I think it was around 2 years, a year ago, um, probably 2 years, um, and oh, and it will mostly be like around every 3 years I go to physical check, and the reason is because of the insurance companies, right? Medical bills. It will, it doesn't get along with my community and stuff, and the clinics that are in here are the lines are too big. Sometimes there will be doctors out of town, they're on vacation, and nurses, you know and you will be in line waiting for 2 hours, right? Then you finally get to the end, and you know they call you up, and it's you will end up finding out that you haven't made an appointment yet, and you have to make one. So now you have to make one, right? But it's on a hand paper application, but it's a online, right? You have to make an appointment online. Um, and nowadays, right? Hispanic families and stuff, you they're not used to it, right? And you know, and the healthcare system has changed a lot, this time of year, especially because of the new trends and news outlets out there. Um, and that's what really gets me, right? Because now my family members, they go to the doctor every 3 years, and that's insane, right? Because I got younger cousins, sisters, and uncles, right? Who may broke a leg, right? Or have some type of of issue with their bodies, and they're not able to go because of the money and stuff. And another thing is about the language barriers, right? Many people I know, they don't speak English, right? And in clinics and hospitals, the only language they speak is English, right? And that will make it hard for them to communicate and understand their treatment, understand their health, and as I was doing and one time when I was doing an internship about climate change, going around people, most of the people only speak Spanish, and um, and my interns, the people that I work with, they all speak English, right? Most of them speak English, and sometimes those who speak Spanish, they do not feel comfortable speaking Spanish because probably don't know much, or probably because some type of other reason. But I stepped in and speak Spanish all the time. I spoke Spanish to those people who don't know English, right? Um, I made them understand about the heat waves to keep their children away from the heat, from developing any type of disease and mutations in their DNA, right? Like, and I think that's, another reason why, another whole new reason why medicine inspires me and I want to pursue something like that. Um, these are, you know, small topics that I want to talk about in this channel as I begin my journey in being, the best and hopefully one of new eras, right? Something that um, you know, um, a doctor that will revolutionize something new in medicine and hopefully cure something, not just slow down something, right? And I look forward in posting new things, and you know, and before I get too deep into things, I wanna post brand new, videos that could develop this channel and get to know me, right? Because um, I think it will be the best for you guys can know me, um, and then we'll see where it goes. Yeah, thank you.